Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and here with a few friends in the Delaware County area, we get a basement and talk about a certain topic. Today's topic is going to be hitting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube with my guest, Alex Rome. Can I actually say your last name, or is that
sure?
Okay,
ahead.
Alex Martinelli, aka Alex Rome on YouTube. Alex, what's up, man? It's good to see you. It's really been a while since the last time I saw you.
Oh my God, it's been so long. I probably haven't seen you in like 5 or more years, and I was super pumped when you reached out to me because I saw you were doing like this podcast stuff and getting into content creation.
Mm-hmm.
And me being a content creator, I thought that was really cool, and I appreciate the opportunity to come on here.
Dude, I mean, it's not every day you fucking know somebody who hits fucking one, a milestone on YouTube, but two is doing it as like a component to their career.
Hell
so
yeah.
This is like a very rare circumstance we find ourselves in.
Yeah, man.
One, congratulations, man. Seriously. Like I don't know who's like you posted about it online, and it's kind of just like, who actually like really knows what like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube actually means, right? It's kind of like a weird thing. It's like you would tell some like layman that, and they'd be like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
But it's like, nah, that's like
yeah.
that's like a 10. Like, I would say, maybe I'm wrong, probably like 10% of people on YouTube are probably in that tier.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It is a big milestone, especially as a creator, because it means people are paying attention to you,
Right?
Like what you're doing, and it was always a milestone that I wanted to hit. It took me a while,
Yeah.
but I figured out what it was that I wanted to do and the message that I wanted to create, and I just chased that message, like delivering that message, and was able to do that. But yeah, as a creator, it is a big milestone.
So why don't you explain, for those who don't know who you are, what exactly you do, both like on YouTube and then like what your YouTube is actually like, you know? Yeah, I feel like there's like two arms of the business, right?
There's a lot now.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe there's more. Go for it.
So it's what I do is I make YouTube videos where they're music production tutorials. I teach people primarily in the electronic and pop and hip hop music space how to create music and how to engineer music, like audio engineering, mixing, how to make music behind an electronic music software. So I don't actually teach. A lot of people ask me like, "Oh, so what instruments do you teach?"
It's like, it's not like that.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like that. I teach the electronic production of music. So everything behind a DAW, or in other words, a digital audio workstation.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I know that term.
if you go to YouTube and you search Alex Rome, you'll find videos that say like, how to make melodies for electronic music, how to make chords for electronic music, how to make drums. So I teach every. Should I look at the camera or should I look at you?
You can do both.
Okay,
it's fine.
So I teach every a well-rounded, angle on music. And if you want to learn how to make music, that's when I would come in. You would search something like how to make electronic music, and you probably find videos by me on YouTube.
Yeah, it's funny how you search you, and it is very easy to find you. Like all your shit just hits.
Well, when you do it for so long, you start to accumulate content.
Yeah,
and that's what the key is just to consistently keep putting stuff out that people care about.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts to build credibility on these platforms, and the platforms learn who you are. Like, platforms are just literally just big brains.
It's a good way to put it.
They're big brains, and they're constantly trying to figure out who are on the platforms and what they do, what value they give. And then what they do, what platforms like, say, YouTube will do, is it will pay you in followers and subscribers and viewers, if you're doing well, if you're making content that they know people like, they will put your content in front of more people, and that's how they pay you and grow your credibility. So it's always, when you're a creator, you're always trying to just better your content and raise the bar and do it consistently and for a long time.
It's interesting to hear somebody, I mean, not that you're you're kind of speaking positively, but somebody speak positively on the algorithmic side of YouTube, because I feel that's all you hear about is how the YouTube algorithm, or maybe it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, is just fucking everyone over.
That's just the media. I mean, the media has made everything sound bad at some point.
Sure.
But like when you talk about the algorithms is just people. That's all algorithm is. Like there isn't really an algorithm. It's just people. So like an example would be, if you put up a video and you're trying to get X amount of views and likes on the video, and it gets way more than that, and maybe could go semi-viral, get like hundreds of thousands of views. A lot of people might think, oh, he fed the algorithm, or it was the algorithm that did that, like something about the video. It's like, no, what the algorithm does is it saw that people liked the video, and was pretty certain that more people were going to like it. And because people were able to watch that video and connect with it and take something from it, maybe a lot of them are rewatching it. That's a big thing with YouTube. If a lot of people rewatch your videos, that's when those platforms really grow you. So the algorithm, it's just people. If some people think the algorithm hates them, and really, that's a big excuse for people don't care about their content yet, or maybe people just don't find it relevant. They don't find it valuable.
I feel like, I think you're onto something, because like I watch a ton of YouTubers who, at some point, maybe some are more vocal than others, are bitching about it to a certain extent. It's like, oh, the algorithm kind of got me on this one. And it's like, well, I'm not gonna sit here and like retort to that comment. It's just kind of, I'm so used to hearing it. And even with our content, I don't we're a very small podcast, and as a podcaster, it's really hard to like break out. Like there are a lot of podcasts under that certain mark, and then there are, like we were talking about YouTube, there's a rare select podcasts who are just above and beyond the Call of Duty and are really doing well. Like it's hard to break that line. Right. No matter what you're doing, podcasting, YouTube, like content creation in general, like it's hard to break through, and you clearly successfully did it. So like, from the scope of your business, did the YouTube start first, or did the business side of it start first?
The YouTube started first. So
okay.
So I don't know why I think about it all the time, but I made my first video in 2014.
Yeah, I looked to see when your channel was made. It was 2014.
I made my first video in 2014, and I don't know why I started doing it, because I started making music before that. I started making music in like 2013, I think.
And you've always been like very artistic. I mean, I guess for those who don't know, I've known Alex pretty much my whole life.
Our whole lives.
Yeah. Well, his brother Chris is one of my best friends, like since fucking preschool. So yeah, we've been through the ringer.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so I started making music in 2013, and then I made my first YouTube video in 2014 because I wanted, it was just a straight tutorial, like screen recording of me making music on my laptop. And the reason I did it, I think, is just because I wanted more attention to my music that I was making. I figured tutorials was a good way to get that attention, which it was. But what I kept making tutorials because they kept getting attention. Like, people liked me teaching. And, sometimes when you do, like, so, like, I like to make music, but I started making content, and people were clicking with the content more. I was getting more hits on the teaching than I was the music. And in my eyes, Like if that's the thing that's clicking, well, that's what people want.
So when you started, there was like, what was that goal really like solid, or was kind of like, this is what I want to do, but like we'll see.
Yeah, it was like a hobby. I pushed videos
Right.
out like once a month.
Yeah.
For like 3 years, it was just a back burner thing, but I kept paying attention to it because it's really all I had. Like I was in college at the time, and I knew I wasn't going to stay in college. I was miserable in college.
So you didn't finish out school?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't going to stay in school because I didn't like it. Wasn't giving me what I needed out of like life.
I feel like most people would probably agree with you. Even I, as somebody who finished college, can probably agree with you to some level that like college is like it's a weird thing. It gives you a nice degree that opens your doors for you, but like how much does it actually help is a different question.
Right. Well, I think college it's useful. It is. I mean, but you have to realize like what you're getting into. Like it'll give you a degree to get a job, like, but like it's that job that is the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, like the jobs that you could get like with the degrees that I was like majoring in, which is like business degrees. I was like, what am I really gonna?
So that's what you were doing. You were doing business.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were like, music's over here, businesses. I mean, like they intertwine, sure, because music is business, but
Right. But I just wanted to make music like that. I saw what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do college, but college bought me time. It bought me a lot of time. When I was at college, I was making music and tutorials the whole time. Still didn't know I was making tutorials, but people were paying attention to them, so it's attention that I had, so I just kept doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I made it to a crossroads where my debt was starting to accumulate because I was in my third year of college. My like student debt was starting to accumulate, and I had to make a decision. Like it's either because so I made it to my third year in college, and my YouTube was I was at like 20,000 subscribers on YouTube maybe in my third year of college. So people were paying attention to me, and people were beginning to pay me for lessons now.
So how, like, you were just doing like under the table
lessons, like that's how the lessons started. So I was like, this is like a business, and that like gave me money for school, like to like go drink and stuff.
Sure, right.
And like eat, and so I was like getting beer money, food money. So I was like very like happy with that. I didn't know that could actually happen.
Yeah.
The business started, and I made it to a crossroads. It was like it was like my first day of my fourth year of college, and maybe it was like a weekend. I don't even know, but the crossroads was, well, I could take out more debt and stay in school, and the whole Alex Rome thing will definitely fail.
Right, because you're not fully
not like
in it.
off the ground, and I'm not fully in it, so that will definitely fail. Or I can drop out of school, and Alex Rome might or might not fail. So I knew that's all I cared about. I didn't care if the degree failed because I wasn't going to use it anyway. I was just going to keep making videos after college,
right?
And try to juice things back up. So I quit beginning my last year of college. And I went full time into the YouTube creation. It probably took a year or two of just slow growth and failing miserably at YouTube and not making really any money until like 2 years ago when I figured it out. Like it's just it's a learning program. It's a learning
curve.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. I just cracked it 2 years ago. I figured out what it is that YouTube wants and was able to really accelerate my growth to like 50,000 subscribers a year, which is like probably what I'm doing now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah.
It's like that's really impressive. I don't know if you like sit back and like kind of think about that. It like again, like that is not something I have done, I've worked for a YouTuber.
Oh yeah.
To give you some background, yeah, I started a YouTuber that I watched who did video content for the game Guild Wars 2 reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I'm starting to Twitch stream." This is his full-time job. So he was unemployed for a little while and he was doing some stuff on the side, but he was finally like, "Okay, this is like 2015. I'm finally gonna start streaming on Twitch and like do content creation full-time and try to make money. Like this is what I'm gonna do." So Twitch was his answer to that. So his YouTube kind of went on the back burner a little bit because as he's working a 9 to 5 like stream schedule on Twitch, he can't really do YouTube. So he asked me, "Hey, can you edit videos for me?" And I was like, "Sure." So I did. I edited for him in college. His name is Bog Otter on YouTube. So I edited for him, and then at the end of my senior year, I did an internship with him. Basically, now I'm gonna get college credit for it, and I'm just gonna do a bigger project because now I have more time to like dedicate it to it instead of just coming home doing it on the side while I was working at the movie theater. You know, there was like a little bit more at stake here. So I did a bigger video, and then after college, while I was unemployed / working part-time, doing some freelance on the side, I was still editing for him for some like a little bit of what's the word? Pay. Compensation. So he wasn't, you know, he was throwing me some money. But it was not like he could like fully afford like a freelance wage. I was kind of just like helping him out. So I saw the backside of like a successful YouTuber, and even like
how big was he on YouTube?
I think his biggest was probably like 40,000.
40,000 subs.
Yeah,
nice.
but his YouTube, even after I left, like he just, as a Twitch streamer, he just doesn't have time to create that content, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
You really, I know for the gaming community, like Twitch and YouTube are like very essential, but like you can't do them both full time. You just can't. You can't support a live stream and then do like very well edited videos and turn them out weekly or whatever the schedule is. So he picked Twitch over YouTube, which is fine. YouTube money is you know, I don't have to tell you. I mean, I don't know how much you make off YouTube, but YouTube money can be weird, I assume.
It is pretty weird.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
It's weird, but you figure it out. Like that's another thing too. It's like you learn how the money works in time. It's like if you start a YouTube channel tomorrow, you're not like it takes you a while to get to that point where like now the money is coming in and you know your first,
and it's steady.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what's cool about YouTube is like if you start to get like $40-50 a month, $100 a month, $500 a month, it stays there every month as long as you're consistently uploading. You know, I know people who are uploading, you know, one video a week. Probably takes them 4 hours to do, and they're probably collecting a couple grand a month.
And how many views are they getting?
It doesn't move like that money. Like a couple grand a month would be, for me to make $2,000 in a month, I'd have to get like 250,000 views, and that's like high for me. So that like it'll like vary from like my AdSense will vary from like 1,000 a month to like $2,000 a month. If I take my foot off the gas, then it reflects in the AdSense. Like if I take my foot off the gas, like work on products and stuff.
I was gonna say, what reason would you have to take your foot off the gas?
Work on products. So that's like another thing I didn't really explain yet. I use my YouTube to drive traffic to my business, which started with me giving lessons, like music lessons, teaching how to make music and stuff, teaching music theory, really everything. It started with music lessons, and then I eventually was selling out of music lessons. So
that's pretty funny.
So I made a course, and that has done really, really well for us. And now this year we're working on basically virtual instruments, samples, and stuff like that. And they're called like sample packs. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you would buy samples to use in your own original track.
Yeah, so like we sell like they're called packs of, let's say, sound effects that you can use in your sounds. If let's say you make music for video games, you can use our sound effects to enhance that music. Like if you need like certain sounds in that music, you know. So we build those now, and they're doing quite well for us. We're still new in that business, so we're learning things, learning how that business moves. But yeah, we make a lot of cool products for music producers, and we're working to be that dream platform for a music producer.
So when you say we, do you have like a team? Because this is new to me.
Yes.
I assumed it was just maybe you.
No. So if I was just a YouTuber still, then it would be just me. But I have a full-time editor who edits
A
all
video
my
editor.
Yes, video
Cool.
editor. Because that takes a lot of time.
It does.
as you know.
Yeah.
I have my brother. My brother Nick is full-time marketer for my business,
Cool.
and then and now Chris is actually part-time making some instruments for us.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, like he's the
I know
musically
Chris,
gifted
yeah.
one, so he's
Yeah.
making instruments for us now. Who knows? Maybe that.
How long has that
could
been
grow.
a thing? Because I mean,
Chris
like
working for us.
Right, because Chris has been doing fucking guitar shit forever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was always hesitant with selling his soul. He never.
Is that his own words?
Yes.
Yes. That's exactly
he knows
why
that
he said it.
eventually, if like he were to hop into my industry full time, where I'm paying him to make instruments and samples, that he's selling his soul. But he might want to do that. He might want to do that. Because he feels like he paints cars now.
Yeah, I know that.
He loves it. Like
Yeah.
adores this job, and he's an all-star at it.
Yeah, that's what he told me. He's good
but-
at it. And I've seen him post stuff.
Yeah, and he was telling me like it feels like that type of workflow. You go to work, paint cars, you come home, you go to work, you paint cars, you go home. He says it feels very
Monotonous?
like you're in a machine.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're in this machine of like society. And he said, maybe this could potentially be a way out of it to do cool stuff like building instruments and stuff like that. But that's like still on the back burner. We're still like
figuring it out.
We're in the beginning stages, so we're like a startup. So things are gonna work, things aren't, but right now we're having fun, and that's what we do. So the YouTube channel drives traffic. People find me through my YouTube channel, and they click on my website, and they buy my products.
And there's clearly like a demand. So this is the part, I don't know the music industry. So, but it from what I understand and from what I know, it makes sense that somebody would be looking for a tutorial on how to do X, find somebody who knows how to do X, and then finds out, oh, this person also does lessons, and I'm already watching their content.
Yes.
It makes sense for me to pay whatever the premium is to get the courses and, learn directly from you instead of just watching the free stuff you put out on YouTube.
So so that's exactly it.
Great.
somebody hears an electronic song. They want to learn how to make that music because it sounds cool. They go on YouTube, how to make electronic music. Oh, this looks cool. They click on one of my videos because it's there, and they watch my video and they like it. They look in my description. Oh, he's got a full-length course. I can learn how to do all of this in 6 weeks. It's a 6
Yes,
week
6
week
weeks.
course that I have. It's a 6 week course that I have, and the link actually says like learn music production in 6 weeks.
Yeah, you gotta have those catchy taglines.
Then they get into the course and they like it, and we're growing a community that way. And not everybody who watches my stuff will
Pay.
end up buying something, but that's all right.
It's the nature of the business.
But that's okay like because I make YouTube videos because they are free and because they are fun to make, because they do help people.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just it's the way it is. It's a cool way of doing business and learning about people and growing. But yeah, man.
One thing I did forget to mention is if you've been listening us forever, our intro and outro are actually by you. So
Oh, no way.
Really? You don't remember this?
Dude, wait. I remember I'm like slightly remember
One-
you asking me to use my
At the
10X song.
Yeah.
Dude,
it was probably in like 2017. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would be surprised if you didn't even remember because you probably weren't in the business yet. You were just still fucking around on YouTube.
I was still like making my beats and yeah.
Yeah. So one of your songs is the intro and outro to the podcast.
Oh, that's exciting, man.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's exciting. That's cool.
Yeah. This was I was gonna say it's probably maybe it was like 2016. Delco on their network started probably around then, I would think.
Damn, was it 2016?
Yeah, because
wow,
I was
you were doing this since 2016?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I remember asking Chris. I was like, "Hey," I was like, because like he does guitar shit. I was like, I don't even know what I'd want, but I was like, could you do like an intro outro like little melody for me? And he was like, ask Alex. I'm like, okay. So that's what I did. And you just threw me a song that it was on your SoundCloud, and that's what I used.
Yeah, I think electronic music suits this brand.
Yeah, for sure.
Nicer because it's you guys talk a lot about gaming,
right?
The
like digital.
Yeah. So that's where I think electronic just fits. That's what's cool.
Yeah,
that's what's cool.
So
about
you've been
music.
supporting me since day one. So thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. While we're talking about gaming, this was kind of my icebreaker question, but I'll throw it in now because we were just having such a good conversation. Has any games influenced your music / what is your favorite music in a video game?
Oh, that's yes. Oh my god. Actually, I don't know which Mass Effect it was, but one of the Mass Effects, it might have been Mass Effect 4. Is there a Mass Effect 4?
Andromeda would technically be Mass Effect 4, so there's 1, 2, 3, Andromeda. And the collection actually just came out. The remaster for all 3 of those games just came out like Friday, which I've been playing.
Okay, so I can like figure it out like on my phone, but there is one. It's one of my favorite songs in the world that it's so timeless, never gets old, and it's like this song's like 10 minutes long, and it was in one of the Mass Effects, by one of my favorite artists named Coma Duster, and that that influenced a lot for me. So like the Mass Effect songs, because that led me to listen.
Is it like a electronic song?
It's definitely electronically produced, but it's not like if you go to a rave you won't hear this kind of song.
Is it like DAS Days Fonts? Is that what it's called?
It's called Hide and Seek.
Okay, no. All right, so there's a song at the end of Mass Effect 3 that's in the credits. That's not really like score-ish, but I know it for a fact because I listened to it. And it's by like the person who it's by somebody else, not the person who did the score.
Yeah. So
Hide and Seek.
So this song,
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Hide and Seek Mass Effect or Coma Duster, whatever. You'll find information on it. But
I'm not gonna play it, but
this song, I was reading the comments. It seems like it comes in on a certain like level or on a certain like quest or task or whatever that game's about. But that was a really, really big influencer for me. The Halo music, obviously. I mean,
I honestly, I was looking for you to say that.
It's like you can't be a musician interesting in scores and not like the Halo music.
Right.
It's just a different level.
Even some of the stuff from 4 and 5.
It's all beautiful.
I was like, I know we were talking about Halo before, and you said 4 and 5 didn't really do it for you, but Marty O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore don't do 4 and 5, but there are really good tracks from 4 and 5.
They're good. Bungie's good. Some companies I do think are better than others at finding the talent to make songs.
One thing I'm very critical about, I like scores a lot. I have a fucking playlist.
That's interesting.
of
You know the names? I don't even know the
video
names.
Games of scores, scores of video games, movies, TV shows. And one thing I am usually something I always make sure to note is Marvel scores are boring. All of them.
Really?
All of them. They're
No
all very
way.
basic. They're all like, there's only one Marvel movie, it's Captain America Winter Soldier, that has like an outstanding score, and who did that off the top of my head? I'm thinking about it. His name's there. It's not coming to me. I'm gonna look it up as we're talking. But Marvel movies have notoriously bad scores. They're just there, like it's just music to be there at that point. And like I'm sitting here listening, and I'm like,
I hate that feeling, dude. I
Henry
know exactly.
Henry
what you're
Jackman did, and he does scores for tons of shit. He does tons of video games. That's what's funny though about scores. All these artists are doing all this shit.
Yeah.
Like one of the Mass Effects is by Jack Wall. I think 2 is. And yeah, like Bear McCreary does a lot of scores. Like you start seeing the same names as you like look at albums. I'm like,
That's cool.
oh, the same guy who did this movie did this game. Like they're all like video games and movies scores are like on the same tier. Like they get the same people. Maybe not Hans Zimmer. Maybe not him.
But
like,
no, I know what feeling you're talking about. Like when you're listening to a movie, you're like, okay, that score is there just to be there because they need a score,
right?
You know, there's nothing special or unique about that. That's cool. That's
yeah. I really like video game music. I think it can make a like I'm saying it can make a movie or break a movie.
Yeah. I just bought a Nintendo Switch. Oh, I don't know why. I was eyeing it up for so long, and I wanted to play Super Mario. Mm-hmm. Well, so originally I was gonna get like a Game Boy SP, but because I remember Super Mario Advance, I really wanted to play it. I wanted to hear it again, just nostalgia.
Right.
And but it was the same price to get one of those as a Switch. So I went with the Switch, and I'm like, I noticed like now when I play video games, 'cause I don't play a lot of video games.
Yeah,
I'm like paying attention.
You used to though.
Yeah. I'm paying attention more to like those details, like the music and stuff, and like, although it is somewhat cheesy in those Mario games, it's cool. It's like I love the production.
A lot of those beats, right? Like I think you mentioned it have nostalgia to people.
Yeah.
Even Halo 1 soundtrack, every song is a fucking bang.
Yeah,
like every single
song.
one. Halo 2, 1 through 3, every track is like, yeah, dude, I know this fucking song.
It's like rare to have a video game where people like where the soundtrack has just blown up.
Like, look, the Halo main theme, like the monks chanting, like that is iconic. And as soon as you hear it, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, is that monks chanting? Is that what that is?
It's a choir. Yeah, it's people.
It
is factually people. Yeah, I'm trying to think about like what other game. Mass Effect does like Suicide Mission from Mass Effect 2 and Leaving Earth from Mass Effect 3 are tracks that I feel like not everyone will know, but like if you're a gamer, like, oh, I know that song.
I liked I really enjoyed the main menu song of Fortnite from 2017.
Is it? I was gonna say it's probably changed since it first came out.
It's probably changed, but like. It was the one they had it on the main menu for like a whole year, and that one was nice. It was just an ongoing like a continuous beat, but the melodies and the electronicness of it was oh man, really I liked that, and I actually ended up sampling it and making my own music with it.
So do you do a lot of that where you'll take like sample music and like just fucking make a remix of it? Is that something you do a ton?
Yeah, that's always. I'm always making music. That's like I don't put my music out anymore, but like I love to make music. It's my thing.
So when you're making music, you're kind of making it for yourself / maybe like a video. You're not necessarily be like, this is my remix track of the Fortnite theme, and then you put it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm making it just for me to it just makes me feel good. I like my music. I get to try weird things, go into my world when I'm making music, and if I'm not making music for that purpose, I'm making music for a video or sound designing for a certain product.
Would you ever want to work on like score for like a movie or a game?
I always wanted to do that. Yeah.
I feel like that's much more feasible for people like you to do, especially indie devs. Like looking for smaller studios with smaller budgets, looking for smaller.
That would be awesome.
Smaller creators to do music. I know a ton of indie games that have like wild scores, and they're by some random composer or music producer dude, and it's just like, oh, okay, this is cool, and he's getting exposure from everyone who plays the game. And it's again, it's probably a rare select few people who actually listen to the music and then kind of like take it in and maybe go listen to the soundtrack. I think that's probably pretty rare. Maybe not. Maybe I'm kind of being a little harsh about it, but like I know I am somebody who like I'm like, oh, this is good. I'm gonna go listen to the score.
Well, you know, as a that's interesting. It's like that's like one of the paths, like as a producer you can go.
You can take right.
It's like you can make music for a certain video game, and the bigger that game gets, the more in demand you will become as a music composer.
Right, because then people play the game and they go, "Oh, this music's awesome," and maybe somebody else who's making another
developer
goes, "Hey,
yeah,
we literally like your music in X game.
Yeah,
can we work together?" Yeah, like it's just opening doors.
That's huge. That happens too. Like, you know, before Fortnite blew up, let's say Fortnite blew up, nobody cared about Fortnite.
I mean, nobody.
You know?
I wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. And Epic was still like a bigger company. You know, Unreal Engine is like one of the most popular game engines on the planet. And then Gears of War. But besides Gears of War, Epic didn't do anything else.
Yeah, like
and they sold the Unreal Engine, and that was it.
And when I'm sure like when that blew up, the people who made like let's say the theme song of Fortnite, like now they have other options.
Yeah, and I know some of these like it's very rare. I actually spoke to a singer who I did a podcast with Jenny Plant. She sings the main theme for a game called Death Stranding. I don't know if you heard of it. Really cool music in that too. Ludwig Forzel is the composer. But she was telling me like, you know, it's really rare for a studio to have an in-house composer. And at the time, Ludwig was working for Kojima Productions like full time. Like he was just there. He was their composer. And she was telling me how that's really strange or rare. Because usually like composers like, you know, bounce around to companies. They're, I guess, freelance or contract. Technically, they're not in-house.
Freelance, consulting, it could be like any
and she was kind of telling me, like, yeah, that's weird for a composer to like just be at a company. And I think he actually recently left Kojima Productions to do exactly that.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I would think it has to do with like, you know, well, if you take let's say like a label like Epic Games, like such a big company, they could probably hire a full-time composer. Because there's enough sound designing, there's enough like sound effects that guy's got to make.
Forget score. There's sound design, audio design. There's a lot more.
There's a lot more sounds to make every single day.
Right, for a new gun, whatever, new skin, whatever the fuck's going on.
But if you're like a micro development agency, you got to put a budget together, hire one of these guys, and hope you come out on top with these scores.
Right, and hope you didn't overpay or like blow a lot of money somewhere else that maybe, you know, your music isn't great because you just didn't have the money for it, or, you know, whatever the situation may be.
Yeah. And the product is another thing too. It's like, you know, if it costs you, I don't know, $25,000 to take on a composer to do 15 scores, you better hope that they are a good set of 15 scores.
Right.
If they're not, you're out.
Yeah. like you don't get a redo.
You don't get a refund or a redo because that person's
like, hey,
probably
made
spent months making them, and yeah.
So 5 years ago, could you have seen yourself kind of doing any of this? I mean, you're a small business. You're a business owner. Like kind of an entrepreneur in a way. You're a content creator. That's really
5 years.
It's interesting.
No, 5 years ago, no. I always thought I was gonna do something different. I really like 5 years ago, like because remember, like 5 years ago when I was doing the YouTube videos.
5 years ago. It's
2016.
Yeah. Now that we're in like a weird number that I can't just -5 from, I have to carry.
Yeah, that's like where I'm like Yeah, we are.
It's like where are it's like 2021 -5. 16.
So like 16, it wasn't like dead serious yet, but it was getting somewhere. But like I didn't think like because I always wanted to be like going to my own business and like hit it off big. Like that was my like just as a young kid. Like I just always wanted to do some crazy type of business, or I had like a big ambitions, but I didn't know how anything worked.
I don't think any of us still
wanted to get, you know, I wanted to be a famous music producer working alongside some like apprentice for somebody, some big producer like Taylor Swift or Taylor Swift's producer, and then work my way up the ranks, and now I'm like a world-class producer. Like I always like was thinking about that. Like oh, this is what'll happen. Like YouTube's not gonna be anything, but still going somewhere, so I might as well make a video this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to go back to, I think you mentioned you kind of figured out how things worked. So when you're putting out a video, are you doing so? Like, are you at the point where you're doing content that you actually want to put out, or at certain points you're like, I don't really want to make this video, but this is what is doing well, so I'm gonna do it.
Hell yeah, that's like, oh my gosh, it's like most videos. Most videos are that way. They just work, and I'm good at making them, and they get a lot of attention. But I don't necessarily like. I'm not crazy about like clickbaiting is another thing. Like
especially thumbnails.
I don't want to clickbait. Like it's hard.
It's hard to not.
It's hard. It's hard to not, and it's hard to do.
Big faces with like.
Big faces, big red arrows.
Yeah. There's a like in it, even with like our YouTube videos, I try to keep thumbnails very much like. Podcasts are hard to like make clickbait because they're such long content. It's like one, you're gonna look at that time and either be in or out. Like it doesn't matter what your fucking thumbnail is at that point.
Right.
Like and I think most of your videos are not like super long, but like I feel like with
I try to do short videos,
like 5 to 20 minutes. I feel like I've seen like
five, probably on average like close to 10 minutes.
Right, because that is digestible. I see a tutorial video. And I want it to be as short as possible.
Yeah. You don't want a long tutorial.
Right, especially with like I'm doing something on Premiere and I'm like, fuck, or Photoshop. And I'm like, how do I do this? If it's like 5 minutes sometimes, it's like, and it's definitely simple and I know it is. Like, it's just like, okay, how do I do this? Right. Like, I want like a minute or 2 minutes. Yeah. Like, I just want to figure it out. I just want to go in and get out.
Right.
But like, obviously for music, this is, that's a totally different thing, much more complicated.
But that clickbait thing, it is a big thing. It's like, because you have to, and I'm lucky that it's all music, so I still enjoy the content.
Right.
But it's like, sometimes I don't want to put a celebrity's name on the thumbnail just so it gets views. Sometimes I want to just...
But it helps.
it helps. And, like, you have to do it, and you got to make the video now about the celebrity.
Yeah,
so
I know you've done, like, some Avicii stuff.
Yeah. I don't like to do that, but
you kind of what you have to do, right?
Yes, that's the nature of the game. It's what works. That's a big thing. Like, you have to do what works, especially when you're not like the biggest creator in the world. Like when you're the biggest creator in the world, you do whatever you want. But even then nowadays, like I remember like back like in the earlier days of YouTube, I feel like people would blow up and then they would do whatever they wanted.
I mean, think about it. When we were in like middle school and high school and like the YouTube videos we watched and some of those creators, almost none of them and like are really relevant anymore. I think there are very few YouTubers who were there at the crux of this thing who like made it out on the other side or just not doing YouTube. It's kind of funny to like, I don't know if you follow, I know what YouTube is like back then, but I don't know if you were watching YouTube and like,
I was addicted to YouTube.
Where are those creators fucking now? Those people you used to watch every fucking day.
Remember Smosh?
Yeah. Smosh evolved and Anthony and Ian broke up and that was a thing. Like Smosh Games came out of that. Like Smosh, great example, fucking really evolved and totally changed. And now I don't even know if Ian is still doing Smosh. I know Anthony Padilla. It's funny how I even know their like last names.
Yeah,
he got out of Smosh and like it was a moment. And
is he back in or
no? I don't know what they're doing, but isn't that funny? Because like Smosh was a big YouTube channel at the beginning of YouTube, and they just evolved. And you don't know.
You know what I thought was weird about Smosh, because like nobody, I don't think anybody's really still talking about Smosh. No. Like they're not relevant.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember.
I like, can tell you if they're still doing shit right
periodically,
now.
I will like remember names that I used to watch, like Smosh, like when I was younger in like 7th grade. Like I remembered Smosh in a certain way. It was like Anthony and Ian just doing like stupid shit. Like that's what I would expect to tune into.
Right.
But now they got this overdeveloped studio.
Yeah.
It's clean cut production. They got all these like weird actors, and they'll do like these weird like games with each other. I'm like, this isn't Smosh,
right?
This isn't.
And that's kind of I think what you're seeing is like the corporatization of YouTubers, where a company will come in and kind of, I guess, give a budget to these guys, but then kind of like make some ground rules as to like, oh, like we need you to like not curse as much or do this. But like, and you're right, even on the production level, before they were just fucking around with whatever camera they had, it was like rudimentary editing, and there's some charm to that. But now it's like even this, I'm using a DSLR camera. Like none of this is necessarily like, it's not fancy production, but it's not like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you have to do nowadays. Everything, like if you were to film a home video and put it on YouTube, you're not getting any views, man.
Yeah.
We're just not in that age anymore.
Right. Well, wait, you said film a home video and not get views?
Yeah. Like imagine if you're like in middle school or high school. Like we used to make videos.
Yeah.
And you guys did.
Yeah.
And like that shit, like I feel like that kind of type of video that like somebody would like go onto YouTube to look up something dumb, like is never gonna get found. I mean, at the lowest level of editing, like you don't put like that much effort into it.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what's interesting to me? I think sometimes, like I've seen some pretty raw productions explode because the content was good.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you might be, because I don't think that a production has to be perfect. Now,
it doesn't.
Once you find like what people likes, if you want to clean it up a little bit, maybe upgrade your microphone, like the audio quality, upgrade the video quality a little, and keep
this podcast has come a long way. I do not always have XLR mics.
This is nice.
Yeah, and it, some people come in and they were on when we were using that Yeti over there, and they come in. It's like, dude, you really upgraded, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of what you have to do eventually. Like you need, I'm not making money from this, but I'm putting money out because I care about the product.
Yeah, yeah. So like what? Yeah, I mean, and so what you found, what you like, which is like this type of podcast. So keep fine tuning it every year, like upgrade something.
Yeah,
get something that'll take your production quality from here to here to here to here and like keep moving up. Some people, like let's take for example Evan Bream. Have you ever heard of him? LA Turtle.
Maybe.
So he was a big guy on Vine.
Sure.
And he is one of the
maybe I do.
He's one of the rawest, like, pick up his phone and be funny guys. His engagement is outrageous. He's got like millions of subscribers. And they're all just cell phone face cams of him like doing the funniest stuff in the world. But like what he would optimize now is like he doesn't need a camera crew and a crazy editing to get big. I turn on that to watch him just sound funny. So what did he figure out? Like he just has to be funny. He doesn't need a certain camera.
Maybe
to be funny.
I was thinking at it of a different angle, because what you're saying makes
you're
total
right. Like
sense.
Quality should be there. It absolutely should.
Yeah,
absolutely should. But in today's age, like if you have an idea and you want to see if it's worth giving to people, like you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on equipment yet.
No.
See if the idea works.
Even what we're talking on here is not like, it's not budget, but it's not fucking like thousands of dollars. This is like $100 board with like $200 mics.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
and you're good.
Right,
yeah.
right.
It's not crazy.
You
don't
get
gotta
a pretty
go crazy.
Professional sounding setup for relatively cheap. Yeah, like sometimes you don't need to break the bank. Like I could go out and get the Joe Rogan setup, as I like to call it. You get a Rode mic that's $300. You get a fucking arm that's like $200, and you get like a full soundboard. You could do that, sure, but is that in your budget / do you have room for that? It's like a totally different thing.
Like, do you care that much at this point? Like, is
right.
it working? Like, if you were getting like crazy engagement or something, like, and what you're doing is working, by all means, go ahead, drop some dollars, like upgrade everything, get a like hot desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the you don't have to in today's what I think what I'm trying to say, because like what you were saying is right. Like like you do need good quality. Now people just like to watch quality stuff. But what I was saying is to get started, and to figure out if an idea will blow up, take out your phone and talk to it and create that content with your phone.
Right.
See if people care about what you're saying.
Right. To any podcaster, that's pretty much the advice. Just start doing it.
Just start doing it. Right. When you first started, I remember, didn't you use the microphone on your phone?
No, I used...
Or a Yeti or something.
I mean, the Yeti was definitely there for a while, but I used a headset, and we put the headset in the middle of the table.
Yeah, I remember. I just remember something laying on the middle of the table.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Right. That's how we started. And like I mean, before Delco Nerd Network, we had Everything Entertainment, me and Trio. And that was like a weekly news podcast on shit. That was like a totally different thing. It was the first time we'd done it. And you like I'm sure you have those videos you look back on. You're like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you're like, oh, shit.
It just hurts. But I leave them up there because they are part of my journey.
You're not gonna take that shit down. And it's kind of sucks. Like, speaking of that, the stupid videos we made in high school and shit that like were like timeless classics that I took down off my channel. Biggest regret of my life.
Oh,
I'm sure you have tons of shit.
Right.
Still. Like maybe not on YouTube.
Oh yeah, they're still on YouTube, like
somewhere
from my other
unlisted.
From my childhood channel.
Yeah. Cause like there was some shit me and Chris did, and somebody in the Twitch chat said many videos made on Gooch's video camera back in the day. That was true. We did we made videos all the time.
Yeah, we were always
and
creators.
Usually with Chris.
Yeah.
Me and Chris always made
Chris
some like
was
random
always a
shit.
creator.
Yeah.
I remember like he went hard in the paint doing that. Like I remember one time I came home and I saw a video like on Facebook of Chris pushing Phil Kim down our hill on a longboard.
I remember that in the trash can.
Yeah. He like hits the
that.
curb and like flips. I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. Because now we still have that. Like I still tune into that just to see it. Like, cause it's outrageous.
It's such a like, yeah. I mean, like
sometimes I'll still watch my
that's
my
10
videos.
plus years ago. It's like totally different time.
Yeah. So sometimes here's an interesting one. Like one of my old videos, it was one of my friends crashing on a dirt bike, and the video quality, I don't know what made me put it on YouTube, but I was in like 6th grade, so it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And
iPhones were just becoming
I didn't even shoot this on an iPhone. I shot this on a flip phone. So like, you remember that quality?
Yes.
Flip phone quality?
Yeah.
It was shot on a flip phone. It's like my friend going up a jump on a dirt bike and crashing. There was no sound in the video. It was just that. And it was like a 2-second video. And dude, blows up to like 400,000 views.
Really?
Yeah. And it was only disliked too, because the video was so bad. And there was like no likes, and it was like things like that used to happen on YouTube.
Yeah. And it like didn't matter as much. But now if totally different thing, but like if you put out a video now and it blew up, but it blew up negatively, it's like
yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to what we were talking about and making like incremental improvements to like your setup and stuff. So like, how are you doing that as somebody with are you at? I think the last time I checked it was 108,000.
Yeah.
Are we like about there?
108,000.
Yeah. I did a little research. So like, how does somebody on that level, like what kind of like what's the next thing you're like looking to buy to improve either the classes or even the YouTube?
Now,
but it's probably both, right?
Well, when you have the business, it's like everything now is like a focus of energy. It's like, where do you want to focus your energy? Right now, we're focused a lot on the products, like products quality and stuff like that. But YouTube is always like, that's right now the lifeblood that gets people to pay attention to us. So that's always improving. So like right now, what I'm constantly working on is the space. Like it has to look pristine.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it does. Realistically, well, doing what I do, yeah, you probably want it to look like you want it. My space needs to look like I'm real, like I'm in this.
And
You know?
it's professional.
Like it needs to look like I'm a real professional producer. So
Yeah. Maybe not exactly like this, but 'cause, like I'm obviously like I'm living at my parents' house, and yeah, there's a filing cabinet back here that, that I can't move.
But yeah.
But like this is all my shit. But yeah, it's like we were talking about it when you first came down here. There's only so much, and I bitched about it a lot. The lighting is a great example.
You know,
there's only so much I can do.
You have a table. Like that was the thing for me. Like I used to have like an old IKEA desk, but then like the YouTube traffic ramped up, so I was like, okay, well, this is part of my desk is in the video, so I'm gonna get a really good desk. So I bought a real studio desk now.
Okay. Do you have like one of those standing desks?
So that's an upgrade.
Are you one of those guys?
No
standing desk.
No
Okay.
standing desk.
I'm not into it either.
That's an upgrade. It
Right.
works. Now that's one part of my video that looks nicer. It's like really vibrant. It's white. It looks good, and it's backlit. So that's a plus. I might
Backlighting is really the thing with your RBG fucking all your neat purple and your blues, and that's a big thing for content creators is that backlighting.
Right. I'm trying now, like there's still some wall in the background, and I'm constantly thinking blank wall. It's black, but like I'm trying to figure out like what can I put on that wall just to make it what'll make it 10% nicer to look at.
Right.
You know? It's like little things like that. I look at my videos and I look at what I see. I see a piece of my chair, so I have a nice gaming chair. It looks good on video.
Yeah, the racing chairs look really nice on camera.
So that looks good. The desk was in my video, so I upgraded that. Now I got the backlighting on the desk. Now there's like the stuff behind me. I have some audio equipment, and it looks good sitting back there. It looks like I'm sitting in a place with audio equipment, like a real
It builds
studio.
a little character. It doesn't just look like you set this up to like, make a recording.
Like just because you're sitting, like I am legitimately sitting in a music studio. It's treated like it's a real music studio space, but
and the space is in your house, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But on video, it doesn't always look that way. So you have to like make sure your space looks like what you're doing. So that's what I'm always working on.
Yeah,
is
good
improving
point.
the space.
I would never have thought of that.
That's important.
Right, because I mean, like, as a YouTuber, that has a perspective, but you're also run a business, so like you need to look. If you're making a recording for a course, it doesn't need it shouldn't look like shit.
Shouldn't look like shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like so there's a lot more that you just points that you just made that maybe like should I have this filing cabinet back here?
No.
Not at all. But
You
like
could put
I
that
also sit
over
here
there for free,
and I
I
block it. I do block it.
I noticed you are sitting in front of it.
Yeah.
But I think for really cheap, like you can get some lights that shoot down, like colored lights that shoot down on this cool stuff you got here.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing too, right? It's like, well, like, am I important, or are the figures that you can't really see but sort of see important too?
No, that enhances the
it.
vibe. Remember,
Right.
everything's a vibe.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to think about, and that's when I move out. It's going to be really exciting because I get the opportunity to start from scratch.
So what do you do for a living?
So I actually was going to get into that because one, what I do with the podcast and the video editing stuff all kind of went into what I do. So I work for a continuing professional education company. What that means is I work in a company who services professions like accountants and pharmacists who need education after they get their CPA license or whatever license. So they need to educate themselves to just stay relevant and to keep their license. I am part of the production crew behind their webinars. So I do live stream production and just video editing and production.
Pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty cool.
my podcast, this podcast.
Never heard of a profession like that ever.
It's very weird. I can't just be like, yeah, I do video production. Like it says what I do, but like it's really like it doesn't really like give you.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
It's a niche, cool little thing. Yeah, like I was just saying, like the podcast DNN definitely helped me get my job, and what I did in college with that YouTuber helped me get my job. It wasn't about what I did in school. It was about everything I did extracurricular while I was in school, which is going back to the thing. It's like, okay, how much did college really help? That degree opened that door for me, but what I was doing outside of school was really what my employer looked at.
Yeah. Nice.
And when I get another job, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be like, okay, like what's he doing for work? Sure. But like, oh, he also has a podcast? That's interesting. Like he's making content that isn't like just career.
Now, like I'm beginning to, hire people, like test them out, see what they got. And what's valuable to me in somebody is the projects that they've held up, like extracurricular.
Right.
Like,
and it doesn't matter
that.
if it's a fucking like if you're getting 1,000 million views or you're getting 10, like you're doing something, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like right now, like we're looking around trying to hire people who could make instruments for us.
Right.
So somebody who can make an instrument has to be a really, really good music producer.
Like just has to be a master at X instrument.
Yeah, like master at that instrument.
And it's not even like guitar too, right? It's like it could be anything.
It could be anything.
Like a fucking bassoon.
But it could be a bassoon. If you can make a bassoon, a virtual instrument sound good, then we probably have something for you to do.
Awesome.
But like yeah, like what I notice is like we don't and this is pretty relevant to today's world. It's like people could come to me and they might have a degree in, let's say, like business or something, but like there's something where a degree, it's not going to help you here. I want to see what your extracurricular activities, have you worked on something, have you tried to build your own projects in an area you're passionate about, like even if you're just like, even if you're a middle of the line music producer, but I think like I can train you to like step up certain things.
Sure.
To step up quality. I still want to see like that you're passionate enough to start a project and stick with it. That's what's cool about like doing this stuff with Chris, is because I know like he's done albums by himself.
Yeah, man.
Like
the fact that he got music on, I mean, I'm on Spotify, but getting a podcast on Spotify is pretty easy. When he put up his album, Penelope, his Penelope Sunshine persona, I was like, wow.
That's like a whole brand.
I was like, right, but it's also like I would assume getting music on Spotify is pretty difficult. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I was like, as somebody who doesn't know how to do that necessarily, I mean, I know how to do podcasts, but as somebody who's looking from the outside in, I'm just like, wow, dude, that's fucking impressive. How many people do you know with music on Spotify?
Right.
And or like any music platform, like that's crazy.
Yeah. So like that like working with Chris taught me a lot about like what I need to look for in other people. It's like, because now I know like the reason Chris is so good, like Chris can deliver a really good product.
Yeah.
Like, I know now like what level of like ambition you need to have in what you do. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, that's interesting. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So what? I was gonna say what else before we kind of start wrapping it up. What's kind of like down the line for you? Like what's? I mean, you kind of mentioned the instruments, but like anything else that you haven't talked about that's kind of like in the future that's big for the channel or for the courses.
So, yeah, it's like the YouTube channel. I want to. So if I keep doing what I'm doing now, I'm not gonna grow to like 1 million subscribers.
Okay.
However, now I'm so good at YouTube, I could probably figure out how I would want to get there. But that's like, that's a way I could go. Or the other thing I really want to do is like just keep developing this amazing business that we have now.
Right.
Making like cool things. There's so many things I want to make now. Like I want to create so many different instruments I want to put out there. And eventually I want to get into developing real like virtual instruments like from code. Ones that like they're called plugins.
Yeah, I know what a plugin is.
I want to get into plugin development eventually, but that's like you need a lot of experience and money.
I was gonna say, is that really difficult, even from like a technical standpoint? Like, how much coding do you need to know to do that?
You need to be an absolute master. So that means I need to hire an absolute master.
Right.
So I need to be able to afford an absolute master.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so we're not there yet, but we haven't really, we still have a lot to do in what we're doing now, like sample packs. So we're hoping this is like we're not hoping, like it will be. This is a big step into that next step for the business, into being a real, plug-in virtual instrument company eventually. But right now we're just having fun. The YouTube thing, maybe I'll start. I start like really working to blow that up, or I just might just keep that small so I can keep my focus on the business. I'm not really
right. You can't do both full time. You kind of have to pick and choose what you're gonna do.
If I was a full-time YouTuber, I could probably blow that up.
Right.
If that's all I had to do, because then you obsess with it.
But like we were saying, YouTube money's weird.
YouTube money's weird. I've seen, David Dobrik.
Yeah.
I've seen him collect a check for $300,000 a month, and then the next month YouTube decided, we're not going to pay people like you anymore.
Right.
And then now he doesn't make any money from YouTube.
Right. I mean, the same thing on Twitch, man. Twitch is really weird for that as well. I feel like it's much more easier to start a business on Twitch, but it's still like if you aren't streaming constantly, you're losing money. You
owe your life to streaming if you decide to stream. That was something we didn't talk about.
Oh yeah,
I tried it.
Yeah. So how was your experience with streaming?
Was it just a fun time of my life. That was when I was still figuring out like what kind of creator I wanted to be. That was back in 2017. So the YouTube was still going, but I still didn't think I was going to be a full-time YouTuber. So I was like, let's try streaming. You know what? Do you remember Kevin Kantz?
Yes. Your old neighbor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know what happened to him on Twitch?
No.
So
something sounds familiar about this, but continue.
So Kevin Kantz created a persona, Mr. Chang, on Twitch, and he was the top streamer for GTA, with like 15,000 viewers every single day.
Was he like one of those roleplay GTA streamers?
Yes.
That is like a big fucking thing.
It is a big weird thing that I do not understand.
We're not going to go into it.
I don't want to watch it. Yeah, if you want to learn more about that, go to Twitch and it's the GTA roleplay. Check it out. You might or might not be into it. But hey, something about his character cracked worldwide, and now like Facebook just gave him a massive contract to leave Twitch and go to Facebook.
Why didn't I fucking know? This is always what amazes me about never would have guessed that.
So what's interesting, back in 2017 he was streaming, but like it had not blown up yet. Mm-hmm. And he was like telling me all the time, he's like, you gotta stream, dude, like stream, like it's working, like
stream, bro.
he had like 400 viewers at that time.
That's a lot. I would say that is a very nice sized audience.
It is. That's great for that's live people,
right? I think a lot of people get stuck at around 100 to 200. I watch a lot of streamers who are always at that number, and my views are low. Like we maybe get like 1 to 10. That's just but the stream isn't like the biggest component, and is it annoying? Sure. Do I wish I had more? Sure, but I'm not gonna get bent out of shape about it. But I feel like once you break that 200 barrier for a streamer, you're like in a very good zone. So 400 I think is good. But anyway,
Right.
continue.
Yeah. So he had around 400, and I was like, I saw it was working for him. But when I started started streaming music production, and in the back of my head, while I was doing it, I was like, I just don't know. I couldn't feel the purpose of watching somebody stream if it was going to be my primary thing. Like, maybe I can stream my life as a music producer, which I think the idea is cool, but I don't just to display that over stream. I didn't know how to do that.
Right. Also, do you want to commit to doing that every
Well,
day?
that was the thing. I gave it a 90-day run. I streamed every day for 3 to 5 hours, every single day.
And did that like wipe you out, or did that wipe you out?
You got in the beginning it did, but like you actually get used to it. It becomes like, becomes like eating. Like you wake up, it's 12 o'clock. I gotta hop on stream. But what sucked about it is like I didn't make any money of it, and I was putting in all that time. So
you were streaming on YouTube or Twitch?
Twitch.
Okay.
I was putting in all that time, and I wasn't making any money on it. I think in that 3 months I made $100.
I was gonna say
tips.
Because one, you have to get partner, and then subscribers. It's not just followers.
Yeah.
People have to actually pay you. That's where the revenue comes in with Twitch, is the subscriptions, which are $5 a month. And then there's different tiers.
Plus, I was getting like tips,
donations,
stuff like
right?
And it added up to $100, which I actually thought was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
all right.
Yeah, for that to really have taken off, that was another crossroad. For me to be a streamer, I have to do this 7 days a week, all day. And that's just not how I want to do things. I do this type of business because I want freedom to make music and hang out and like drink beer with my friends, and you know what I mean. Like,
right? Because I know tons of streamers. I think it's a very bad what's the term I'm looking for? Not like way to like, I guess the lifestyle. It's a very bad lifestyle to not be able to take a break, go on vacation.
Yeah, like those
streamers that miss a week, that's big. That's a big deal.
A big deal.
Yeah.
Like, and streamers that miss a day, even, I'm like, because there's still, when you're a streamer missing a day, there is a streamer 14 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
Somewhere.
I've talked to a lot of streamers. I'm friends with a lot of streamers, and I know a streamer that I've had her on the podcast before. She pretty much was doing that during the streaming, like a regular, probably like 6 to 8 hour stream pretty much every day, and she just totally stopped doing that. She's like, I need a lifestyle change.
Yes.
I was like, I can't do this.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah, streaming is an absolute lifestyle. I didn't like that.
I feel like I'm like sapped, and she was kind of like, when we were doing the podcast, I think like right after that, she had announced that she was gonna like just not stream every day and just stream when she wanted to. And
like my life started looking like my bedroom. That's not good. Like, and then it's the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I mean,
then the end of the day comes and you go outside and it's the end of the day. It's like, oh my god,
dude, that's
like, what
like
did I do?
Working from home during COVID, like fucking, I always say I shit and play in the same place. I fucking sit on that chair and I work, and then I play in that chair or on that couch in the same room. Yeah, and it sucks. I can't wait to go back to the office just because when COVID.
So you're out of the office now?
Still.
Damn.
Since COVID, yeah, and it's been horrible. I just don't like working from home. I like leaving.
Yeah,
It was in the back of my head. I was thinking about it.
So they didn't open up the office for people who want to go back, or you think they're going to?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. How many people are working there?
My company probably has about 50 people that go to the office normally. We've grown a lot during COVID, and I was going to ask you, how has COVID been for your business? Has it affected you at all?
Not at all.
Yeah, I was either gonna suspect to hear nothing, or we've been doing better because people are home.
Well,
doing more shit.
it was kind of like, it was interesting when we launched the course. It's called EDM Bootcamp, which EDM is electronic dance music. So like, let's just call it production bootcamp. So it's like a bootcamp style course where you learn everything about music production. So when we launched that, it was launch year, so sales were high, and it carried us all the way to this year. And the COVID happened, and I suppose that because COVID happened, you know, we got a lot more hobbyists. People like, yeah, I wanted to try music production.
On your hands, right?
So I'll buy your course, and like, so this is year 2. So it's been like a really interesting 2 years because we had the first launch year and then the second COVID year,
which is an irregular year,
yeah,
right?
and sales are like about the same. So
okay,
yeah, so. Now what's gonna happen next year? We
yeah,
don't know.
Where life gets back to normal.
Yeah, we don't have it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're there at that point, right? Things are definitely getting back to normal.
Getting there, but there's still
we're still like in this.
We're still
weird
not
year.
Like we kind of just ran out of gas a couple days ago. You know?
Yeah,
you know,
people filling up their fucking like shopping bags with gas, like videos going viral.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
What are we doing? I mean that shit's always gonna be like that.
Yeah.
My dog is like slowly pushing that pillow off the thing. He's been sleeping there that whole time. Sometimes when he's good, man, he sleeps there during the whole podcast and it's fine. But sometimes he barks and it's just like, dude, killing me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had another thing, I think, before I wanted to like outro. Fuck.
Think about it.
This always happens.
No pressure. There's just a camera on you.
Yeah, I know. Well, I actually thought of another thing. Did you ever think about doing Patreon?
Tried it. I didn't do that as hard as I wanted to, but if I did Patreon, I was only going to do Patreon.
Right, it's kind of
YouTube.
weird to run a business and do a Patreon.
Yeah,
right?
but usually patrons, that's what they do.
Right.
Like, if I ran a Patreon, I wouldn't have a course. I would just have premium content on Patreon.
Right.
And at the price you could work with Patreon, I didn't think it was going to be as profitable as if I just did it my way, like on my own website.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I opted out of the idea of Patreon and went the course route. And it's been working, so I'm probably not ever going to be a patron unless for some reason I do something where that sounds like it makes sense to have a Patreon.
Right. It does seem kind of conflicting to be like, oh yeah, pay me to, and I'll give you free stuff, but I also like have a bit like a business. I feel like I've never seen a Patreon, somebody on Patreon that kind of like does that, unless they're selling art, which is a little different.
That's like, so when you're a content, and this is important, when you're a content creator, whether you're growing a profile on Instagram or if you want to grow a lifestyle brand, if you want to be an influencer on YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, every influencer has that one thing in the background that is like a supplement to what they do. Like, so for example, if you take a fitness influencer on Instagram, they will almost always have a link in their bio that takes you to the one thing that they sell. This could be a Patreon, but if it's not a Patreon, they'll have the course on how to get fit. They'll have a program on how to get fit.
Very good example. That's
yeah. So every influencer has that one thing. So if you want to get into like being a content creator, you really need to think about like what is it that you're going to build on the back end that's going to pay you money. Because it's not always like, unless you have millions of followers, you can't sell a post for $1 million. Like Kylie Jenner you could buy a post on Kylie Jenner's Instagram for like $1 million, and she will hold your product in a picture.
Who's like pretty much, I mean, do you follow a dude with a sign? Or do you know who that is?
No.
It's a dude and he lives in New York. And he just holds a sign and they say funny things, but sometimes he'll get like endorsements and sponsorships that he'll be like holding a sign like relevant to like a car or some sort of service or product. And yeah, like he has, you should look him up. Most of them are funny. It definitely started as like a funny thing. They'd be like, like funny things like I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. What's a funny thing that he's posted before? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, he'd hold up signs and they'd be just funny shit. And then it evolved because he got so many followers into, okay, now I'm gonna buy, like, some company's gonna buy an ad
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
something like that.
So when you're big, you can make a lot of money selling ad space on your videos or your pictures, like on Instagram. But if you're like a mid-level influencer like me, I have 100,000 subscribers, so I'm not gonna make a ton of money selling ad space on a video. But if I have my business, if I have a website that sells products, I can make a lot of money doing that. So that's like my one thing. That's what I was trying to get to. It's like you want to have that one thing, that one product, that one service on the back end of your content creation that, like, you know, because if you have 10 fans and those 10 fans could pay you $1,000 each for your one-on-one session, $1,000 each for like a one-on-one program that goes, let's say, 2 months. Like this is just the type of session that I used to sell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't have a lot of fans, so I had this program was $1,000, and you had, it was just like a batch of lessons for like a 4-pack of lessons that lasted 2 months. And you know, if you have like, you don't need 1 million fans to make money there. Like I only had a few people paying me, but if I sell 5 of them, that's $5,000. You know, and if you could sell 5 of those a month, then you're making a living with a small audience doing what you love. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a very good note to kind of like transition out and kind of end this.
Yeah.
I feel like that was dude, talking to you has been a lot of fun. This has been a very cool podcast.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course, man.
So, I know what I was going to ask. Where'd you get Alex Rome from? Obviously, the Alex part makes sense. Where'd you get the Rome part from?
Think really hard. What's my middle name? What's my middle name?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I may have known at one
point.
Me,
Nick, and Chris have the same middle name.
Jerome?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
There you
I was
go.
gonna be, I was gonna
go ahead. Sorry.
originally be Alexander Jerome or Jerome Alexander, because Chris kind of like created this weird thing where on Facebook he's Jerome Christopher. Yeah. So I was gonna be Alex Jerome, but then I was like, yeah, Alex Rome rolls off and sounds like a stage name.
It does. Yeah. I was gonna ask, why did you want to make a stage name? Because I feel like Martinelli is like, it sounds nice, like our Italian last name.
It sounds names. It's long and it's not. It's my real name. It's like, and I just don't think it doesn't have that power that Rome has. Like Alex Rome, which I just think is shinier.
That's an interesting thing to kind of
I like the name.
Conclusion
the
to
name,
come to.
Yeah, the name matters.
Yeah, because I feel like for me, like Ragucci, or people call me Gooch all the time, I feel like I like my last name. Like if I feel like I made a brand, it would definitely have my last name in it.
Yeah, I could see like Gooch being a streamer name. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. I could.
That'd
I could
be
too.
huge. Yeah.
I mean, it's my handles. I don't have. You know, it's funny. On Twitter, I tried to buy the Gooch from somebody.
Really?
It's just this like Italian dude, normal dude, like nothing weird about him, but I was like, hey, how like would you sell your handle? And he's like, no, and I'm like, fuck. So I am underscore the Gooch on everything, but like, imagine if I just had the Gooch.
Yeah,
it just means so much more.
It does. It's unique.
Yeah. I know a lot of people with like handles or brands that are kind of like, yeah, we couldn't get this, so we have the next best thing we can think of.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Alex, where we've been talking about Alex Rome this whole time, but where can actually people find you?
On YouTube at Alex Rome. I have an Instagram at Alex Rome Sound, where I also put up music production tutorials and tips. But I also put up pictures of what I'm doing sometimes too, so it gets a little bit more personalized on the Instagram. If you're interested, and if you want to follow my journey, I'm never gonna stop. So you're going to get to see me blow up one day.
What's your website? Is it just AlexRome?
AlexRomeSound.com. And that's where, if you're a music producer, we sell a bunch of cool tools, sample packs, preset packs, courses. Check us out. There are most likely something there that you would find really cool and interesting.
His links will be in the description. So if you guys are on YouTube or whatever podcasting app, they will be there. So if you didn't hear / just want an easy click, it'll be down there. Again, Alex, thanks for coming on, man. This has been very cool. Did you bring the play button?
I did. You want to see it?
Yeah, we got to end it with that. Before I do the outro. This is the first time I've literally ever seen one. Like I've seen them, but I haven't like seen it.
Like it's actually a really organized process. And if I ever break it, they give you like this thing where if you ever break it.
Let's see. Wow. That's so cool. Wait, so yeah, what are they talking about when you break it?
They say if you ever like break it or lose it, I can give them my code and they'll make up another.
Gino with the camera.
They'll make me up another.
For audio or for YouTubers, I'm just gonna kind of like hold this up a little bit so everyone can see it. God, I just got these new pillows. They're huge, but they're really comfy, and he just pushed the pillows off. It's all right, dude. That's awesome. You should be so. Man. Is that hanging up?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like you gotta be like, yeah, here we go, the play button.
Right in the background of my videos.
That's so cool. Yeah, I feel, like most YouTubers I watch that have one. It's always
this is my degree.
Yeah, it's like.
That's my degree.
Dress up in like the college
uniform. Yeah, that's a good picture actually.
Have like a degree.
It's a good picture idea for Instagram. Like people would really like that.
Yeah, I didn't know you had an Instagram. I think I just followed it like recently because I was.
Yeah, well, I got two. I have my personal one, like
right.
Alex Martinelli.
Yeah, but I was talking about that.
I don't really use, but I want to start using more because I like just creating content.
Yeah, I have fun on Instagram too.
I use my business one more, which is Alex Room Sound.
Well, guys, if you've enjoyed this podcast, you can find us live at twitch.tv/Delco Network if you want to watch this podcast live or check out the next one. If you're not watching live, you can find us on youtube.com/Delco Network and any podcast service, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, whatever you listen to, we're probably on. And if we're not on it, let us know. I think it's usually a pretty easy process to get on those apps. You can find us at facebook.com/Delco Network, on Instagram and Twitter at Delco Nerds. Our website, you can go to www.delconerdnetwork.com, has all the information I just gave you. And you can also join our Discord channel on our website as well. It's like the first thing you come to when you go there. It's like, Delco Nerd Network, join the community, watch the latest episode. But for Alex, I've been Anthony Ragucci. Thank you guys for listening and watching. See you next time. Stay nerdy.